Run Pure Sports MLB Countdown. It's Holden. It's JT. It's Mangone. It's G Rising. What is up? You know, we had this whole week off. Yesterday, we had a game postponed because of this stupid thing that just won't go away. We got postponements already. We've got lots of rain in Cincinnati. They put the tarp on there. I'm not so sure Milwaukee, Cincinnati plays tonight, guys. Toronto hosting Texas and Buffalo. We got showers and then heavier rain around 10 o'clock. We could see a delay in your backyard there, JT, with the Rays and the Braves. But we also have Kevin Gausman scratched. So a lot of news here. Weather, and then Gausman just got scratched. Logan Webb is going to start tonight against the Cardinals. And if you've looked at any lineups, good God, the Yankees lineup is quadruple A. The Nationals lineup, I'm just not even going to say it's quadruple A. It's bad. It's a bad Nationals lineup. The Braves lineup ain't much better with Acuna out now. We get to see them for a while. So let's start crossing some games off the list. G. Rising, I was going to go to you, but it seems like you're texting somebody or something. What are you doing, my friend?
I'm trying to get with the weatherman, man. It's a big deal today. You got to get with the weather guy. You know, you got to figure it out.
Don't worry about the weather guy. This is a free show, too, so hit the like button. RPS Heater 25 is our promo code. It gets you 25% off your first payment on monthly subs. And JT Hayes is going to give us his thought on the slate. Mangone, I promise, you're going to talk the most here. But JT, got to get your thoughts on that. If you want to include dinosaurs, go for it, but I would prefer baseball analysis.
Yeah, my days of playing with dinosaurs are over, thankfully. So we'll go ahead and we'll leave them to the side, leave them in the past. But yeah, this has been, first of all, you mentioned it, right? Last night we saw this on Sunday, this thing coming back around, right? An old unwelcome friend, COVID, with I think it was Aaron Nola getting scratched because of health and safety protocols. And now we see with the Yankees last night. And as you mentioned, they've got, 3-4 big bats out. So their lineup is, you got Chris Gittens in there, who was demoted because he couldn't hit a goddamn thing. And you've got Erod, who's been pitching much, much better. And, his price is okay, but it's more the lineup there that I think you're looking at. Out in Oakland, all day long, it was Chris Bassett is going to start. Chris Bassett has been the ace of that staff. You expect the ace to start off the second half because they've gotten that rest. Not so much. About a half hour ago, they said, hey, it's going to be Sean Manaea. I was on Chris Bassett today against the Indians. I like Sean Manaea at this price. He gets a nearly $2,000 discount from the last time he was on a slate. It's a big park. Cleveland's been striking out 25% against left-handers the last couple of weeks. They're always a splits-heavy lineup where they do, a bit better against righties. So I like Manaea tonight. And then you've got Kyle Hendricks taking on literally one of the worst teams that we've seen in the last 5 years in Major League Baseball. They are supposed to get some guys back, so I'll be interested to see if we get a lineup out in Arizona. But then some of these other guys, you've got Robbie Ray in that weather game that you talked about. I think that's a game where if I'm multi-entering, I might go with the Jays in just a couple of lineups just in case they get 6-7 in. But I think it's a little bit too risky for pitchers. I myself wasn't on Robbie Ray today anyway. Just a couple of factors there that took me off. And then you've got this game in Atlanta where it is right now. It just started to rain in my neighborhood. I'm about 20 minutes away from the stadium. It looks like it's going to be on and off all night long. And it's a game in Atlanta where you would say Morton's a risk. He's been surprisingly good, but you have to factor in the fact that it was the banged up Mets and the Marlins in Miami where he's had those big games. But on the other side, you talked about the Braves lineup. Jock Peterson isn't here yet. And so their lineup is quite a bit watered down with Abraham.
JT, the Thunder Monster's going to get you. The Thunder Monster's going to get you, JT. He can't even hear us. There he is. Travis, sweet Travis, how are you? Are you okay? I haven't said hello to you yet. I apologize. Talk to us. How are things? How's life? How's the baseball slate? How many likes do we need? What's up, pal?
Yeah, let's get those likes up, right? Let's subscribe to the video. We got all the good stuff. We got Kevin Fallick is in the chat, right? And Kevin Fallick said in the chat, is this the first time Holden and Mangone have done a show together? That's not true, right? Holden, we've done shows together.
He didn't watch our show last week.
Yeah, so Clearly, Kevin Fallick has not been watching our shows, but that's okay. No big deal. Yeah, it's a slate where a lot has happened, right? A lot has been changing. I'm looking at this slate, and I'm playing more FanDuel than rather DraftKings, but we have to watch that weather with the Atlanta Braves. I do think Charlie Morton is probably my favorite option right now. If you told me Robbie Ray was pitching and there was no weather, Robbie Ray would probably be my favorite option. But right now, I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with the weather situation. If you told me I couldn't have those two pitchers, I kind of lean Danny Duffy is a really interesting option, or like an Andrew Heaney, right? High upside guys that can get strikeouts, right? Baltimore's a team that can strike out with the best of them. So are the Seattle Mariners. So those are two guys I'm considering on this slate. We did get Sean Manaea, and I'm trying to look deeper into him and figure out if he's a guy that I want to target. But at the end of the day, this is not a slate. It looks like to prioritize pitching, right? Prioritize the bats that you want. That's at least where I'm at right now. And it's a slate where I get it. The Dodgers, they're going to be total chalk, right? You got teams like the Padres, great offense to attack. People want to attack the Blue Jays and take those hitters because they're going to be going up against Jordan Lyles if there's no bad weather. So I think today is a day where don't lock in on too many pitchers. Just kind of have a pool of guys, figure it out as we get a little closer to lock, which we will when we put up all the core plays and everything, and make sure to get the bats in that you want to get.
Okay. Very good. I'm just hearing, by the way, enjoy the Buffalo home field advantage for the Blue Jays here for a little while longer. It looks like they may be headed back to Canada in August. That's what some reports out of Canada are saying. So that's pretty interesting too. It's great to see you, Travis. Thank you very much. Before I get to G Risen and his thoughts on whatever the hell is going through his mind, we're going to look at some cores. We'll go position by position. We'll do that stuff too. We'll try and get some questions in before the end. It is a free show. But I want to remind everybody, RPS Heater 25 promo code, get you 25% off your first payment on monthly subs. You sign up by tomorrow, you're going to get the Showdown content, which has just been smashing during the playoffs. And yeah, we had a little hiccup. Here earlier in the series. We're getting back on track. A lot of money we've made so far this NBA season. So hop on RPS Heater 25. G Risen, broad strokes on the slate today.
Yeah, it's one of them frustrating slates. You know, you wake up in the middle, mid-morning, you start looking at it, you spend 2-3 hours, you kind of feel good. You go do some other stuff, you come back, and it literally been flipped upside down with all the weather and the pitching scratches we had tonight. But, I think I'm along the same lines as everybody else. I think I'm going to actually have a wider pitching pool than I normally do today. But I think I might keep my bats a little tighter, and I might spread out my pitching a little bit more than I normally do. I normally like to play either two. Generally, I play 5 lineups, but today that queue on FanDuel is only $7, so I'm going to throw in 30 spots. So I'm probably going to have maybe 5-6 pitchers, and I think I'm going to keep it tight to a few bats. But at this point, I'm not sure about Manaea, but that's interesting. That's the only one I haven't really decided about yet.
Nape's in the chat. Nape, it's good to have you back, and it's not good to have you back, pal, but it's kind of good to have you back. Did you know he's like one of our loyal subscribers? Did you know his wife superimposed his face in one of our shows because he watches us so religiously that he wanted to feel like one of the members here? This is what we do to people. This is what we do to subscribers. They strive to be a part of this wonderful crew. Okay, JT, do you just want to give me your pitchers then? Let's just roll through pitching. We got to get the stacks. We got to get position by position. It's a different final countdown today. What's your pool here, buddy?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Manaea, Erod, Hendricks, and I'm going to have a little bit of McCullers, a little bit of Morton, but I'll have Morton and Tampa Bay, honestly, and depends on how the weather goes the next hour. I may come off of that. So that's what it looks like right now.
Pretty simple. Mangone, you want to just give it like the final pool that you got right now?
Yeah, I mean, of course, weather is going to be big, right? I'm playing FanDuel, so I'll take one pitcher, which I'm kind of liking. I've been enjoying doing that more so rather than on DK as much, but I definitely got to give Manaea a little bit more of a look, but I'm kind of leaning like a Danny Duffy. I don't know. Does he have a pitch count or anything? That's the one thing I've been trying to figure out and dig into, because I don't think the Orioles are a team that I'm that scared of. I think there's enough strikeouts there where I can get the job done. I'm still kind of digging to see, but I don't love pitching today. So I'm kind of thinking of more so punting and again, getting in those bats that I want, right? Because I do think there are some really good bats to kind of get yourself exposure to, right? So I don't know. Is anyone else considering Duffy? G. Risen, is that someone that you've considered at all today?
Actually, at first I had not considered him, but just the way the slate seems to take a turn, yeah, I'm definitely considering him. I just like the upside. I don't really fear Baltimore too much, but yeah, I do like the upside of Duffy, and yeah, he is in my pitcher pool.
Okay, so in your pool, you said you got 5 guys though. G. Risen, who are the other ones?
I have Danny Duffy, Andrew Heaney, Edward Rodriguez, Eduardo. And then I also have, I'm deciding, I don't think I'm going to have any Robbie Ray. I'd really like Robbie Ray if I could, but obviously that weather is scary. But I also like Hendricks. And then I think Manaea is going to be my 5th guy.
Okay. Any thoughts on Logan Webb, guys? Anything there? And Mangone, I mean, they did stretch Duffy out his last couple of starts. It hasn't been too bad. Like, he's getting up there. I have a hard time thinking he's going to be on a big time pitch count, but any thoughts on Logan Webb, and where the hell did JT go?
So I think JT's resetting some stuff. Okay. So hopefully he can get that all up and running. I like Morton. It just really depends on the weather, right? I mean, that is the guy I kind of wanted to get in there. I wanted to get Ray too, but then Ray's weather looked bad. Those are the 2 that I was looking at going towards. I haven't really jumped on Logan Webb at all. And I don't think I see myself doing that. I considered Wainwright a little just because, like, Wainwright, I know, has the upside. My problem is that Giants lineup, right? It's not one I love to attack. It's one that can walk a little bit more. We could mention, if we're talking upside pitchers on this slate, like Lance McCullers and Dylan Cease are going against, we're not going against. They're playing in a game with Bill Miller, I believe, is the umpire. And obviously, if that's the case, that's going to be good for some of these pitchers. The problem is, we know what McCullers is. He's a very boom-bust pitcher. We know what Dylan Cease is. Dylan Cease is fine. He's solid, but he's going against the Astros, right? And the Astros are not a team to mess with. So you can dabble in that if you're playing some MME and take shots on trying to hit those ceilings, but understand that there's risk with that, right? In my main team on FanDuel, you won't be seeing that, right? And there was guys like Tyler Mahle, who's like a high ceiling kind of guy. You got weather to deal with there, so you maybe don't want to mess with him. Eduardo Rodriguez, sure, Eduardo looks fine, but we know the pitching in that Yankees ballpark is not always the best, and there are some bats in the lineup that can have some problems. We know Erod, he's similar to McCullers, where at times he can get a little bit wild and have some issues. So then you got Chris Paddock on the slate, right? Yes, you got a really bad lineup from the Nationals, but we know Paddock. Some slates he looks great and some he's a disaster. So it's not the prettiest slate, and we've kind of broke down pitchers pretty good and given our thoughts of where we're going, but I'm more so prioritizing those bats. Like I said, I'm putting those bats in that I want, and then I'm going to get those pitchers in because I just don't see a big difference in spending up at these pitchers today, unless the weather clears out. Then it might change some of the decision-making, which obviously it's all kind of pouring in, and we got 45 minutes till the game start up.
Don Daddy, I'm too filtered on these shows. We need him talking about nonsense. It makes the show more fun. Listen, that's what you get when you're a subscriber, buddy. You got to pay for that type of entertainment, pal. This does not come for free. JT Hayes knows this. JT Hayes knows it all. So yeah, of course I'm going to be nice and pleasant and good to be around on these free shows. That's what it's all about. Then you pay a subscription, then you get the real person. Welcome back, JT. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not sure what the hell is going on, whether that's thunderstorms or whatever. But I will say this. Yeah, I heard Sweet Travis, as everyone knows, I like to call him. Sweet Travis mentioned about a couple of these pitchers be boom bust. Look, there's not a pitcher on this slate right now that you can say is not boom bust outside of perhaps Robbie Ray, and you're dealing with weather. So, Danny Duffy is cheap on this slate. I think everyone says, oh, Baltimore sucks. Baltimore sucks. Guys, Baltimore has been one of the best teams against left-handed pitching all year long. So this isn't a smash matchup for Danny Duffy by any means. In fact, historically, it's been a pretty tough matchup for him. And I think, you mentioned Paddock. I expect Paddock to bounce back a little better than the game he had against Washington last week. But just looking at the matchups here, I do think you can hone in on some of these guys and say, all right, these guys are better plays than others. And I'll go back to Charlie Morton here because you have massive strikeout upside with Tampa Bay, but you've also got a bunch of power left-handed hitters in that lineup. And let's remember, Charlie Morton's big games against the Mets when everybody was injured, and then a couple of weeks later against the Mets, against the Marlins in Miami, but a week before the Marlins had torched him in Atlanta, where he pitches tonight. And then a game in Boston that he ended up doing really well, but he almost didn't make it out of the first inning. So Morton is not a lock by any means of on this slate tonight, especially with the weather here. So I think I agree with G. Risen that it's a night to stretch out your player pool and really try and get tight on those 5-man stacks that you think are going to do well.
Very good. All right. Sweet Travis, we got 407 watching. We got 110 likes. What do we need? What's the like count today? We're coming off the All-Star break. What do we need?
Yeah, coming off the All-Star break, we'll give the people a little bit of a pass, right? We're going to be nice here. Let's get this thing up to 200, right?
No, it's nothing.
That's nothing. That's easy for you guys to do. Let's get the job done, and then we'll keep this thing rolling. Like I said, we want to give out those winners, give out those core plays, and JT Hayes he's pounding down a Coca-Cola. He's getting energized for this slate. I mean, he's ready to rock.
Steve Anthony wants me to replace my Cubs logo with a Brewers logo. Guess what, buddy? In 30 days, it's getting replaced with NFL stuff. So deal with that, pal. The NFL is coming back very, very soon. All right, let's get to the offense. Again, talked about the weather already. If you want to hear it again, Buffalo showers, heavier rain later in the game. Lots of rain in Cincinnati. They already got the tarp there. Could be a delay with the Rays and the Braves. So G. Risen, let's hear from you, pal. Again, there's a lot of offense. These lineups, some of these lineups are just dog crap. Washington, New York, Atlanta. I'm talking about the Yankees, Atlanta. Some bad stuff tonight. So there's a few teams I know I'm avoiding already. Who are the stacks? What are the stacks you're looking at? And then we'll run it down position by position and try and get some of our viewers the one-offs, because this is how we do it on the MLB Countdown Monday through Friday leading up to lock.
Well, if we can start out with the Dodgers. Obviously, they got the highest team total. So I think they're going to be pretty chalky, especially we don't really have any, ace pitchers that are going to cost us 10 or 11K. So obviously getting the Dodgers in cores is going to be really tempting for everybody. And, I'll give kudos.
Can I call a timeout real quick?
Yeah.
Antonio Senzatella and 2 others dealing with COVID situations for the Rockies.
Oh, great.
Oh, that makes the Dodgers even better. Senzatella.
So Yuli Chacin, reliever. Yency Almonte, reliever. Jonathan Daza, outfielder. And Antonio Senzatella. So this is Thomas Harding, the Rockies beat writer. Rockies dealing with COVID. Sam Hilliard and some other guys called up. Senzatella is down. Do what you want with that info, G. Risen.
Well, that's important because Senzatella is the starting pitcher tonight.
I know.
Very important. But yeah, you know what? Senzatella is, if they're going to go to the bullpen, I just think that makes the Dodgers even just more intriguing. I don't really fear that Colorado bullpen. I don't think any of us do.
Why would you?
But, obviously the Dodgers are going to be pretty chalky. A couple other spots I like. I do like the Padres against Washington. Fetty, I'm not a fan of that. And then I also like the Cubs against the Arizona Cardinals. So those would be my top 3. I think what I'm going to do is just mix in those 3, and I'm going to mix in my pitchers and maybe throw a 1-off or 2, and I'm going to keep my stacks tight to those 3.
Okay. Sweet Travis, let's hear it, dude. Stacks.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to stick with the Dodgers. And I think this helps them too, right? I mean, that we know how bad that Colorado bullpen is. And the reason why I'm going to stick with them is, okay, so let's say things go wrong, right? Let's say, as JT says, the old friend COVID sneaks up and the game gets canceled from the slate. Let's just say that's the worst case scenario and that happens. Listen, I have pivot options, right? I mean, that game starts at 8:40. I'll likely know before the game starts, right? I'll go to the Cubs, right? Against lefty Madison Bumgarner, who I'm not scared of. I can play Javi Baez. I can use my money, right? To Chris Bryant. I can change Will Smith to Wilson Contreras. I have options. Max Muncy, he can turn into Anthony Rizzo. So there's routes, right? You can easily do that with the Angels as well. I'm not scared of Chris Flexen. This is his second time through to those Angels. So there are routes. Eli Morgan, he's not that good. Do I love playing Oakland in that stadium? No, but I'm going to just take that risk, even though it comes up. I figured people are going to ask if they're concerned that something can happen with that game. I think it's worth taking that risk. That's my current plan with some of these batters. Of course, if you look at the Dodgers, there's not this specific guy where you can be oh, I can play this bottom of the order guy that's going to be 2%, right? I mean, people are just playing the Dodgers. So if you do decide to play the Dodgers, get different with your pitchers, right? I mean, I'm not scared to play like a 1% pitcher or 2% pitcher. Try to find a way to get maybe unique there. And with some of your other stacks, again, you don't always want to just sit there and like eat up the chalk, but some days I'm okay to do it. And I'm okay to do it today. I mean, I'm definitely said I'm mainly playing FanDuel. It's easier to get in some bigger bats there and get unique, right? You can have those big platoon type players, right? Those lefty mashers. So I'm going to try and kind of build that way. And that's kind of my current overall takeaway on this slate.
Okay. Again, if you're just joining us, Senzatella. So it hasn't been officially announced by the team, but Thomas Harding, who covers the Rockies for MLB.com, says Senzatella and a couple of relievers and Jonathan Daza as well are going to be on the COVID list. So that's wonderful. We got that popping its ugly head up again. JT, please don't go down the rabbit hole there. Okay. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Let's just stick to stacks, pal. So get to the one-offs. I'm looking at the Dodgers. Like, if the Dodgers were already the chalk, are people going to continue to pile on the Dodgers then? Because now I know Senzatella hasn't been terrific, but this is a full-on bullpen game against a team with a bad bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is here, right? You've got a fairly expensive Dodger team. So, you can certainly look to pivot to these other games. I think if you're multi-entering, you have to have some Dodgers. And for me personally, if there are contests where, single entry or whatever, I'm going to try and avoid them. Maybe take a one-off, but focus on some of these other teams. Travis talked about the Cubs in Arizona. They get Madison Bumgarner coming back from the IL, and they get the worst bullpens.
Your internet has COVID, dude.
In the game after however many innings Madison pitches. Madison has been.
JT, we'll get back, buddy. We'll get back. Go do your internet. Go tell the thunderstorm to go away.
Holden, we just got some pretty good news, right? So Chiche Gonzalez is the starter. So the fact that they announced him as a starter makes me feel more confident that game will play, right? It wasn't just like games like off, right? They announced someone that's going to take his place. So that's encouraging, I would say. Wouldn't you guys agree based on how you saw how yesterday went down?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think there's much of a difference between Gonzalez and Senzatella, to be perfectly honest with you. I know people are going to laugh at me. It's like every time I went against Gonzalez, the guy stepped up. I watched a lot of Rockies games out here. It just seems like the hard contact just doesn't go where it should be. That being said, still got me on the Dodgers tonight, Mangone. I'm not going to play him because I'm playing tournaments these days, but maybe a one-off we can find from there if you want to play a one-off. I'm not on them, but in cash, how do you fade them?
You don't, right? Like, I mean, you're playing Dodgers in cash, right? Of course, your arguments to not play them in the past was going to be, well, Toronto on the slate, right? Yeah. And Toronto could be a really great tournament option, right? I mean, if that game does go, you worry about Robbie Ray, right? Because he could go 3-4 innings and the delay is too long. But then you could get into like the Texas bullpen, right? Lyles could pitch only 3 innings. You get 6 innings of that Texas bullpen. And that could be really great for the hitting. So in tournaments, if you're willing to take that risk, and again, you have to watch the weather and make that decision yourself if it's worth taking the risk on. That's definitely something you can do. I know someone like BigT, he doesn't decide to do that, right? He just kind of stays away from it always, and occasionally it'll hurt him. But I think it's a perfectly okay route to go. Now, I wanted to pull up Chiche Gonzalez, right? Because there's been a lot of talk of Chiche Gonzalez playing great this year, right? And have been doing a lot better. I want to read just some of the offenses he's got.
I know you're going to say what you're going to say with this, man.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say that he's faced a bunch of dog shit teams, and tonight he's going up against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
You're going to take his numbers and they're going to shove him up his butt.
That's basically what I'm going to do. And of course, yeah, I mean, the Padres games, it didn't go the greatest, right? But this is the Dodgers, right? I have that offense that's one of the best offenses in the league. You know what I mean? They're the Dodgers. They're very talented. Of course, it's not the same Dodgers. They're missing some guys, but it's still a very good offense. I'm still going to take a shot on them here. And again, Chiche Gonzalez, he's fine, but also I'm going to be able to get opportunities with that Colorado bullpen. And it's nice when you get your offense on the road too. I don't think we talk about it enough. When you get your offense on the road, you get those extra like at bats, right? Because of that last inning, if your team's not winning. And sometimes that can go a long way. It can be the difference of getting one last little rally or one last little push to get you in that min cash line or even take down that tournament. So it's nice to have the road team sometimes.
All right. Premium subscribers, we're going to get to questions here in just a little while. I want to go position by position, but the premium subscribers, you guys know how to ask questions. Get in the live show chat Discord, and that's where we're going to answer your questions today. For the people that aren't, subscribers that you're watching. I no longer call you freeloaders. You're not. We appreciate your whatever it is, taking your time out to watch our pretty faces. So I will offer you this. Okay. I will offer you this 25% off your first month. RPS Heater 25. RPS Heater 25. You're still getting baseball content, right? Now we got the NFL starting up. So that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm sure we'll have some preseason stuff too. And you're still getting the showdown stuff for the NBA finals. We got at least 2 more games left, possibly 3. Big time chance to make some money. All right, G Rison, what are you writing down? What are the notes that you're looking at? You look like you're in deep thought. What's going on, pal?
I'm trying to channel the wisdom in the winners. That's what I'm trying to do. No, I'm just like I was telling you, I'm building 30 teams for this FanDuel queue. So, I'm just sucking all the information in and keeping my player pool. And I'm just kind of spinning around looking at some stuff here. So, yeah, like I said, just keeping my stacks and spreading out my pitchers. So it's kind of easy. You just change your lineup, switch the pitcher around. I don't care if I leave 1,500 on the table or not. I'm just mixing them up.
Yeah, another quick heads up too, Horizon, while you're saying that, right? If you're like concerned about some of these weather games and you want to like see what's going to happen later on, like you can backload and change your lineups up, right? Like one thing that I think is important that people don't ever talk about is like on a slate like this, right? The Dodgers start at 8:40, and I get it. The games won't be over in time, but you could say, I'm going to stick with Dodgers chalk, right? And then if you think you're like really far behind because like your pitcher got hurt, now get off that Dodgers chalk and go to a really low-owned offense to try and save your night, right? Like I think that's something sometimes that you can't make the exact decision because you won't know the answer because it's an hour and 40 after lock, but you could sometimes have an idea if you're in trouble, right? And then make a switch to maybe a lower owned stack later on. And that could be the difference if that Dodgers chalk bust. So that's something I might decide at 8 o'clock. I might say, hey, like I like these Dodgers, but I feel like I'm behind. Maybe my pitcher early on got blown up and I'm at like a -10. That Dodgers chalk ain't gonna cut it. So you can pivot to like the Cubs stack. You can pivot to the A's. And of course, you're not expecting to win at that point, but it's something that I think is part of the process that you can go through. And if you're worried about weather, just go to some later games and try and figure it out later. I think sometimes that's something that we don't think about, right? We feel like we have to make a decision like on the Blue Jays, right? If you don't have a good decision, you've been on them all day and you still don't know what the slate looks like, maybe just backload your lineups and play some later stuff so you can find a better team and have a better approach rather than forcing something.
Simon, can you type to me in chat here whether or not we're giving out the cores today on the free show just for today? Because I'm looking at Big T's score and I'm going, whoa, what? This is contrary to everything I said. And then when Big T says it or JSU or any of these guys, I'm like, all right, we better dig into the situation a little bit more. So please, we are? Okay, well, let me give it then. Guys, listen up. Here's Big T's score. He just posted it. He's going Lance McCullers as his pitcher with Andrew Heaney on DraftKings. And then, like I told you, the Nats lineup is dog shit, and he doesn't care. Because, listen, Soto and Turner can hit at any point in time. Alcides Escobar has actually had some success. Victor Robles is a black hole with the bat. Cody Bellinger in the outfield. He's a cheap Coors. He's playing a Coors bat tonight, too? What the hell? Where's Big T? What is he doing? What's going on here, Big T? You're playing a Coors bat with the Nationals? Man, go and talk to me about this.
I know exactly.
Soto, Turner, I get. Soto and Turner, I get. What's with the other guys?
Yeah, so Big T talks about all the time, right? He tries to do his best to correlate, right? Like he might have like a 5-2-1 or even a 5-1-1, but I kind of think Big T is going to do a 5-man national stack with a 3-man Dodgers or maybe a 5-2-1, right? You have to plug in his team to see exactly what the salary fills out. And then maybe that can lead you into the direction of figuring out where he's going to go. But I mean, he's definitely playing a 5-man Washington, which I don't hate because we know Chris Paddock can blow up, right? He is playing under the assumption that Chris Paddock's either going to have a big game or he's going to get destroyed, right? It's going to be one or the other. It's really no in between. And we know what these Nationals can do, right? They were hot. They absolutely crushed who'd they crush? Like, I think they crushed Darvish or someone pretty good. They crushed some of the good San Diego guys before the break. So I don't hate this idea. I think it's a good call by Big T. Also, some of the salaries are really nice. And I get why he's going Heaney because we know Seattle can strike out with the best of them. And he's going with McCullers because he knows that Lance McCullers is has Miller on his side. And if you have Lance McCullers as a pitcher on your team, when you want him when he is an extreme pitchers up, not an extreme hitters up. It makes a big difference with some pitchers. He's one of those guys that walks can be a problem. And if walks are not as much of a problem, I understand why Big T is going with that route.
Ooh, what do you think about that, Mr. G Rison? Huh? What do you think?
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Thank you for that.
I'm trying to enter my cores into the sheet for all the people.
You know, you do that. And I'm seeing JT's too. And you know what? Mangoni's going with the same thing over there on FanDuel. McCullers, Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Bellinger, Will Smith, Gavin Lux. By the way, I owe my daughter 3 separate toys. She kept kicking my ass in that home run derby. She's like, I'm taking Soto over Ohtani. Toys. The kid's going to be a good handicapper. I'm looking forward to that. G. Riza, can you take a minute away?
Sure. What you got?
Oh, they're on the screen. This is great. Like I said, you guys, I can't see the course. All I do is I look at these guys' beautiful faces. So I don't know. Can you give me a catcher player too, please? I need a catcher player too today. Let's do some one-offs. We already talked about our cores.
Well, some catchers. Thank God I don't have to always just play catchers on FanDuel, but there are some decent ones today. I do like Will Smith, obviously, in that Colorado. He's hitting 4. He's only 3,200 on FanDuel. I do also like Wilson Contreras in that leadoff spot for the Cubs. He's only 2,700. I like that. And then I've been a fan of Sean Murphy lately in the 7-hole against Cleveland. I like him as well. And then one other one that I was looking at would be, just depending on the weather, I don't mind Tucker Barnhart either. I do like lefties against Hauser. So that would be my guys that I'd be looking at. But Will Smith is probably my favorite. And then I'll mention Salvador Perez just because he's going to be pretty popular today. Yeah, I like Will Smith. I think he'd be my favorite.
All right, so if I am stacking today and I need a one-off a catcher, Mango, maybe you can help us with DraftKings. G-Rise is the big FanDuel guy. What do you got on DK today? Just throwing out my 2 cents. I like the Royals. Keegan Aiken, I continue to pick on some of these Royals starters, and it's great. Obviously, Salvi's a good play, but he's 5.4K. So there's got to be somebody else, a couple other guys we can look at. And I do wonder if Christian Vasquez kind of meets the requirements too as a one-off. I mean, tonight they got a nice matchup. Montgomery's going to be out there. Vasquez hits lefties a little bit better. What do you got a catcher?
Yeah, so Will Smith is obviously the guy like I like the most. I'd say second is Contreras, kind of like what G. Risen said. But if you need punt options, right? Like, and if you're doing a 5-man Padre stack, sometimes I kind of get torn on if I want to include the catcher, if it's taking away from a good bat. But I mean, I don't want to play Eric Hosmer that much, right? I'd rather play Victor Caratini, right? At 2.6K. Like, that's a guy that is like a cheap punt option that I don't mind, right? Especially if I'm doing my stack. I like your Sal Perez call. I think at 5.4K, he's definitely, if you're doing a Royal stack, like you're not leaving him off the Royal stack, right? When I make Royal stacks, Holden, they include Whit Merrifield and Sal Perez.
Every time.
Off. Like it's just plain and simple. And that's how I would handle it if you are doing those Royal stacks. So the thing about Vasquez I struggle with, not that I don't like Vasquez, I don't love stacking against Montgomery that much. It always feels like he never gets completely blown up with the 5-man. So I might mess with a mini stack, right? Catcher's not the easiest position to roster at times. So maybe if I'm doing like a 5-2-1 or a 5-3, maybe I'll make that a Red Sox, right? Maybe I'll do Vasquez and JD Martinez as my Boston like mini stack of the 2-man. So that's kind of how I'd handle it. And G. Risen mentioned, you mentioned, I think, Tucker Barnhart in that game. If that game goes, right, Omar Narvaez is a pretty interesting option against Mahle. We know Mahle has strikeout upside, but we know he can give up the long ball. Narvaez is a good one-off that could be really low owned at catcher, so I would not ignore him at all.
All right, why don't you just flip over to first then, since you're already on it, Mangone. Give me a first base one-off, a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean, so it's hard to ignore Max Muncy. Vlad Guerrero, if he's in that game is fine. He's obviously a great option, so I would look at them. Ohtani, right? He struggled the last game out against Flexen, but man, that umpire was really bad. I don't know if you saw some of the calls by that umpire, but it was the umpire show. He was out there calling stuff that was balls. So I think Ohtani is another good bounce back candidate here, like him. And then if you want like a super cheap option, right? I talked about a Red Sox before in Vasquez, but like Bobby Dalbec at 2.2K, he is dirt cheap, right? So again, I'm not trying to full on stack the Red Sox, but if you want to take some guys here and there, I think Dalbec at 2.2K, punting that position is not the worst idea.
I just put him in my lineup here. It fits perfect. It really does.
Yep.
2-2 on DraftKings. You can't beat that stuff. Hey guys, let's hit the like button. We're at 141. All our guy Mangone said is get to 200. That's all you got to do. We're doing the show for free. You're getting our premium show for free. You already got Big T's scores, JT's score, Mangone, G-Rise, and I'm sure JSU will pop in there with a core too. So we got some great stuff for you here. Like button would be appreciated. We're not going to beg for them, but like I said, and it does look like the Blue Jays are going home too. So that's going to be maybe in 9/29. So yeah, July 30th, Toronto's going home, guys. No more of this Buffalo just ping pong Coors Field of the South. That's it. It's over.
If I was the Blue Jays, I wouldn't go back home. I'd say you didn't want me. I'm not coming back to the end of next season. And I would let the people in Buffalo and all the businesses around make the money who supported them at this point. I'd tell them to suck a wang, Eddie.
All right. Suck a wang, Eddie? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's from, the Eddie Murphy. Suck it. I just said, cleaned up a little bit.
Okay. Mr. G. Risen, Modelo in hand.
Yes, sir.
First base, one off, FanDuel. You already talked about catcher. Anything at first base there?
First base, one off. I don't mind Carlos Santana. I do like the Royals a little bit today, so I do like him. And Matt Olson wouldn't be a bad guy either, considering we'll see what we got going on. Cleveland changed their pitcher, right?
Cleveland?
No, it's Eli Morgan. It's still Morgan.
You mean Oakland changed theirs?
Yeah, you're right. To Mania. For some reason, my brain was saying there was a pitcher change. So yeah, it was half right. But so I don't mind him either. And then one other guy too that, I think the Dodger stacks, I think a lot of people are going to play Muncy and Mookie more so. I think Cody Bellinger may be underlooked, and I do like Cody Bellinger today. So I think to differentiate yourself in some of them Dodger stacks, maybe look at Bellinger instead of using Muncy or Betts, and I think that might be a decent way to be a little bit different.
Okay, I don't mind that at all. Let's go, guys. Like button. Second base is what we're going to go to in the one-offs, and then soon I'm going to get to your questions too in the live chat. You know what? Let's do that real quick. JMVP, is it me or is Urias too cheap here, guys? Is Urias too cheap?
I just don't play pitchers in cores, right? Like for the most part, I just don't think it's necessary. I put a bet on his under on strikeouts at 5.5 today. It was really kind of used, but I thought the projection was good. I thought it was I don't know. I don't think Urias is that a guy that I buy too much into. Also, the Dodgers are a staff that uses the sticky stuff more than others. So I don't know. I just think it's unnecessary on this slate. I understand that it's not the greatest pitching slate in the world, but I just don't think you need to do it.
Okay. G Risen, this is from B Cole. How many Modelo's you drinking tonight?
That's the third one. It's Friday. So, I actually had a refill. I was a little concerned. I heard that they were on strike. So there's like 40 of them in my fridge. So when I'm done with the show, I'm going to probably go outside, might light a little fire, probably get some dinner. And I don't know, after a while, I'll lose count. But when it's time to go night-night, I'll just eat some gummies and we'll move on.
Second base, G Risen. Give me a one-off.
Second base, one-off. Well, Chris Taylor is probably my favorite play, and I'll just put it. We won't give our plays of the day yet, so there's a hint for you. But if you like Odor, I don't mind Odor. He's hitting in the 3-hole. He's only 2,100 against Rodriguez. The left. I don't mind that at all. You get a cheap bat hitting high up. I don't mind that at all. Second base pretty weak today. I'm not really a fan. I think Gavin Lux is going to be pretty popular. He's only 3K. He's in that Coors game. Ian Happ isn't a bad guy either. If you like the Cubs, I don't mind using him as part of a wraparound. If I was looking for a one-off, I might look at Odor as a salary saver.
And not position specific, but it looks like you like the Padres, little mini stack of the Padres, or of the Padres and the Dodgers, right? That's the way you're going.
I like tonight? Dodgers, Padres, and Cubs.
Dodgers, Padres, and Cubs. What do you guys think of Pollock tonight in the outfield? As I wouldn't say a pivot off of Bellinger, because that's probably not the greatest idea, but what do you think of Pollock tonight? Mangone?
Yeah, Pollock's a great cash game play. He's fine in tournaments too, right? It's just when you look at the Dodgers today, like I said before, there's no I can get the 5% owned guy in my lineup. I think either way, they're kind of getting owned, right? So he's a solid option. You know, he was obviously hitting pretty well going into the break. I think Pollock is certainly fine. Just the only thing I probably wouldn't do with Pollock is I wouldn't be like playing him as just like a random one-off, right? Because he's just got so much ownership more than likely that like if he does go off and you just play him as a one-off, I don't think it's like the greatest idea. I think other Dodgers may go off too. It just seems like a weird outcome to play him as just a one-off.
Okay. John Nosebleed App loves you, G Rising. Just so you know, you have a fan. Good job.
At least I have one.
Yeah, that's good. No, we like you. Mangone probably likes you too, even. So
maybe my Twitter followers will go up 1 or 2 today, and it'll be a good day.
You're doing great, buddy. You're doing absolutely terrific. They moved you up to the big shows. You're handling it so well, so debonair.
One day I'm gonna have my face on the front of the site. That's like the goal. When I get my face up there on the Hall of Fame up there on the top, like with
how many of us are going to be dead?
Just make sure I don't get next to you, or any of you guys. I don't want to take away, they'll all focus on me. You won't look at you guys.
G-Rising, you win a Millie Maker. Your face will be on the front page. I'll tell you that. So just nail that Millie, man. That's all you got to do.
If I win a Millie Maker, it's going to be on the more of that page. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Win a Millie then, G-Rising. That's your goal. Win a Millie.
We're going to give it a rip.
Not very difficult to do. Third base, Mangone. You got anything for me here at third? Hunter Dozier. Again, I like the Royals tonight. Dozier's the guy that stands out to me. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'll pull up the cash chart right now, right? Third base. What did I put? I put Justin Turner, Manny Machado, and I didn't put just both those options because that's all you can play, but I just think that I want to lead you that way, right? I don't want to lead you in the wrong path. Sure, you can maybe find some cheaper guys to go to, but I don't think it's worth it. I think Turner, Machado are worth spending up on. I think they're really good options, and I'm just going to jam them in my lineup over on DraftKings. I think it's definitely worth it. I think on FanDuel, they're great plays as well. So I'm going to them. You can obviously make a case, right? They're going to have the most ownership, right? So if you look like Vlad Guerrero Jr., a lot of people might just forego third base and put him in the catcher first base spot. Well, if you put him in third base, man, that's going to make your lineup construction a little bit unique for sure. Or if you take some of these other guys, right? Like Chris Bryant, everyone's going to just shove him in the outfield. Well, you throw him in at third base, that's going to make your construction a little different. So I think that there are a bunch of options you can go to. I think at the top, the best are Turner and Machado. I think it's plain and simple, but there are other guys. It's not like it's just an absolute wasteland after that.
Okay. G Rising, third base on FanDuel. What do you got?
Third base. Well, obviously the Dodgers. Turner's going to be up high. I'm a fan of the Cubbies. I like Wisdom in the 6 hole. He's only 2,700. I really like him. And I also like Chris Bryant. So I like that. And, sticking to the Padres tune, I got Machado as well. But if I was going to maybe kind of go off the radar a little bit, I don't mind Jose Ramirez. He's going to be pretty high price. Even though Manana's in there, I do like Jose against the lefties in the 3 hole. I don't think anybody's going to play him today. He'd be a guy that I'd look at. And then I know there's going to be some Royals love. So Hunter Dozier's pretty cheap. He's 2,800, but as I've been saying, I'm going to stick to Cubs, Padres, and Dodgers. So I got Turner, Wisdom, Bryant, and Machado.
Okay, flip it over. I always, you know what? I got to get to Mangone on this. Mangone, can you make sure you transition into shortstop too, so that I don't forget it like I always do? So little third shortstop combo platter.
Yeah, shortstop's not hard at all, right? I think again, it's pretty simple. It's those Padres, right? And it's those, I think it's the Padres and it's the Dodgers, right? I mean, Tatis at 6-1, Lux at 3-2. Do you want to go up? Do you want to go down? If you want to go in the middle, Xander Bogaerts at 4.8 against a lefty, like that is a nice price tag, right? But I prefer trying to play one of the Padres or Dodgers more than likely. I don't mind Javi Baez. He's another interesting guy. I like attacking Madison Bumgarner. And then, Eduardo Rodriguez is solid, right? You could make an argument for a Gleyber Torres at 3.9, but I do think this is a better spend up position. I don't know if I want to go, if I am spending down, it's for Gavin Lux, but it's hard for me not to want to get Tatis in there against Fetty, right? I like targeting him a ton. I like targeting the Nationals bullpen. I talked about how you get that nice 9, innings too. And that National Stadium is definitely one. It's not like the most amazing park to target hitting wise, but it's not like it's warm. It's good, when right?
It's warm. That place is a bandbox when it's warm, dude.
Yeah, I don't think people realize it though, Holden. I still think even over the years, people don't realize how much Washington is a decent hitting park, right? I still think people still have it in their mind.
Yeah, no doubt. Because it's hot, it's humid, and I've seen so many games there where you just go and the ball just flies. And then if it's in the 50s, then the ball, it plays a big park. I'm not sure there's a park that plays different between the heat and the cold more than Nationals Park. Time to get to the outfield, but also time to remind everybody that we got Showdown slate in the NBA Finals coming up for Saturday night. We got all our cores every single day. Tony, JSU, Hoop. We got G Risen. We got Mangone, K Falik, who's in there giving his cores. All these guys give their cores. This is their best players from their best teams. They give these to you when you're a subscriber. Then you just got to figure out a couple other pieces, couple missing pieces. And it's been very, very profitable. First payment, RPS Heater 25. That's the promo code, 25% off first payment. RPS Heater 25. And get bets. Is that it, Mangone? If they want to join the bet side for free?
Yeah, if they want to do bet side for free, you can do the get bets, right? That gives you a month of the bet side for free. And if you're into betting, right, it's definitely a good route to go. So yeah, definitely get on that. I made some bets today. I bet I didn't put it on the bet side, but I bet the Toronto minus 1.5 at minus 125. And I got that closing line value, right? The people always love that, Holden. It's just one bet I made today. So hopefully Toronto can win by 1.5 runs. I'm not a believer in Jordan Lyles. I'm also liking that Robbie Ray gets those lefties. That's what Texas best hitters are. So we can get through those guys easily. So that's a free bet. If you want to put that in, go for it. Toronto minus 1.5 runs, Holden. I'm on that one.
Own hitting the run line today. G Risen, give me some outfield play, some one-offs, pal, and then we'll get to the questions in the chat. Again, premium subscribers in the live show chat. We're going to take your questions here in a minute. D-Rock just threw his core up. We could talk about that too. G Risen, outfield. We know what teams you're playing. Who are the guys you're playing?
Yeah, I like the Padres. I got a couple guys in the outfield, Grisham and Myers. I like both them. I really like Mookie, but like I said, I'm going to probably spread out a little bit and probably have some Bellinger as well. Chris Taylor is a guy that you could play in multiple spots on FanDuel. I'm going to probably have him. You can put him at short, second and in the outfield. So I do like that. Same thing like Mangone mentioned. I mean, you could put Chris Bryant in the outfield too. And I think that would be a little bit different from what most people do, probably than having him at third. So that's what I'm looking at. Like I said, you guys already know what teams I'm on, and I'm never opposed to. I really think you might get like a guy like Shohei Ohtani pretty low owned today, against Chris Flexen. I don't mind that at all. I think you might get him a lot lower owned than you should. And we'll see about that Toronto Texas game. I don't know if we got any more news on that one or not, but at this point, I wouldn't mind a guy like Springer, Grichuk, guys like that if you wanted to be a little different and take a chance on the weather. But like I said, I'm sticking to my group of my three teams there, and just gonna mix them up. And one guy too, I'm gonna throw Jake Marisnick as a guy. He's in number 5. He's in 2,200. I don't mind him at all. I think that's a guy that would be like a workbench type play. That guy, I don't think anybody's going to really play him. Like the home run upside, and I do like the Cubs. So I am going to have some Jake Marisnick as well.
All right, let's do it. Let's go outfield, dude. Oh, I see JSU's core plays going up there. He does like a little Royal. Well, he's only got one, though. Come on, JSU. Fill that last spot out with another Royal, pal. Problem is it's in the outfield, and I don't know if he's going to like anybody else in the outfield. So he's got Pollock. He's got Lux. He's got Muncy. I mean, it's fascinating. Mango, we usually don't see Big T and JSU hit cores, but tonight, I guess, is the night, huh? You never see. I do the show with these guys every single day. They never play. They always fade cores, and tonight they just can't fade the Dodgers now that Senzatella is scratched.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it, right? I think it's because there's like so much just up in the air in general on this slate, and sometimes like Holden, there's times where you can just like, if you fade it most of the time, you can make exceptions to the rule, right? It just can't be, hey, like the exception of the rule is every single day, right? You can be like, oh, now you got to at least adjust to it, right? So, and when you build out those Dodger stacks, right, you just got to be a little smart with them. You can't just be eating all the chalk in the world, right? I mean, you got to just be smart with the way you build it. If you make a Dodger stack, right, and you're doing one-offs. Don't take a guy that's going to be 20% owned as a one-off with your Dodger stack. Like, that just doesn't make sense. I don't think it's going to get you over the finish line. So be smart about how you build out those Dodger stacks. I think that's super important. And again, that game starts later. You got some time to figure that out. And that's definitely important when building out your lineups.
Damn, Bud Black's out too. So if you're just joining us, Senzatella got scratched. There's a whole bunch of guys, 4 guys in particular that we know about, 4 players with the Rockies. Senzatella is one of them, 2 bullpen arms, and then Jonathan Daza, who just is on the COVID list too. So we've got Chichi Gonzalez, as some people call him, Chai Gonzalez. Very hurtful. The like number right now is very, very hurtful. Got to get to 200 for the plays of the gays, guy.
Plays of the gays.
Supposed to just go on and move on, but that just it didn't happen, buddy. I'm sorry about that. Plays of the day. Plays of the day. Thank God JT is in here because he just would have squashed me for that one. Any other outfield play? Look at Mango. And Mango, are you just biting your tongue right now? I don't even want to look at chat.
It's listen, I know you don't mean it, right? Of course.
Yeah, no.
Your words get tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied.
People don't get it sometimes.
Yeah. No. That was absolutely a mistake. Anybody else outfield before we get to the questions? And we'll do plays of the day if we get to what? 200. If not,
let's get it to 200, guys.
It's not going to be that tough. B. Cole, any thoughts on Morton and Waka tonight? Guys, any thoughts on Morton and Waka? Thank you, McLongrad. I did do a great job. Morton and Waka, thoughts?
The problem is weather, right? Like Morton and Waka, like it just depends if you want to embrace the variance of that weather. I'm not, right? I think Morton's fine, but what if the pop-up happens, right? I just don't want to. Now, if you have a better read on it, I'll admit, like, I'm not sitting here looking at the radar. I'm sitting here trying to give you guys my analysis, and I'm someone that I've taken shots at times, but I just don't trust myself at looking at the radar while I'm also doing this. And today, instead, I'm just saying I'm going to go for other pitchers. I don't think Morton is just that much better that I need to play him. I can find other guys to go to. So that's where I'm currently at. I'm currently taking some other shots, right? I'm going to some other pitchers. I'm currently on FanDuel messing around with, I'm looking at what Heaney builds look like, right? Because I think Duffy is an interesting one, but I don't know if I want to dip all the way down there. That's the one thing I'm trying to figure out. You said he's gone deeper, Holden. What's like the most pitch counts he's gone to? Are you able to pull it up for me?
5 in his last start. I'll look it up for you and I'll get back to you. I promise.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull it up too, but I was curious if you had it faster than me. Because again, that's a guy that I think has the upside. You also look at that ballpark, right? And I get it. Sure, JT was like, oh, Baltimore's been better. But here's the thing. Baltimore, they typically play in Camden, right? And or is it Camden Yards it's called? I think that's the name of it. But I'm thinking Camden, New Jersey, and no one wants to be there. But at that park, right? Camden Yards, right? It's definitely a park that you can smash the ball out of. It's in Kansas City where balls go to die, right? I mean, they absolutely will get to the track and they don't just get over there. And that's something that I'm thinking about with Danny Duffy, and he can have a good outing. If you look at the walk numbers on the Orioles, there's some low walk rates where I don't feel like Duffy's pitch count will get destroyed. So I'm going back and forth on FanDuel at looking at a Duffy. I think he's fine on DK too, but I think Duffy's the guy that I'm looking at, and I'm trying to look at the 8K guys and seeing what those teams with my offenses. I'm looking to see when I use the optimizer, I'm looking to see which one looks better. Does it look better with a cheaper Duffy, or does it look better with an 8K pitcher? That's really what I'm trying to figure out right now, because I'm jamming in some better bats. And when I jam in like a Heaney, I have to go like a Caratini, or like I'm looking at Hosmer. Like, I don't know if I want to take those routes. I miss out on a Machado that I might want to get in there, and that home run by him could be a big difference. So the more I look at it, I'm kind of leaning maybe going with a Duffy, or even taking a shot on FanDuel. Like, I see Flexen is popping up on some stuff I'm looking at, and I don't love Flexen, but I think Duffy's the better option. It's just kind of telling me that it might be better to punt my pitcher off and say it's not a priority today.
So you gave out your bet. I like the Royals tonight, first 5 -1/2. I know that the Kansas City, the balls go to die there, but dude, they're going up against Keegan Aiken. Like, come on. It's an offense I got to be on tonight. I got to be on it tonight. JSU's core is done. He's going Heaney, Minaya, and then with the Dodgers, Muncy, Lux, and Pollock, and then Kike Hernandez and Hunter Dozier. So that is his DK core.
G Rising, real quick, what's your take on the Royals? I want to get your, because Holden likes them. I know some other people who like them, so I'm trying to figure out my full analysis on that. And then sorry for cutting you off. You can go into that, but I just want to get your take on the Royals because I think they're a sneaky offense that Holden's talked about and others, and I think JSU's on them. So now I'm trying to think about more if I want to maybe go them instead of the Padres, and it buys me some time too, which might be enough value for me today.
You know, I do like the Royals. They came in 4th, but I just decided to cut it at 3. You know, trying to build some teams here. I actually going to have about 10 of my 30 teams. I'm going to have everything starting from 8 o'clock on. So I may actually integrate some Royals into my teams. I'm actually trying to build some Padre teams right now because I do like the Padre team, and I can just lock in some bunch of Padre players, and then I can just move around. So, you know, I've tried not to panic, you know, and the clock is running, but yeah, so I do like the Royals. I think I may have a few Royals on my 30, but for the most part, I'm going to stick to the 3. But yeah, I do like the Royals, but the thing is, like we said, the park. So I think I'd rather play the guys in the 3 games that I'm interested in, but, you know, and I do put that park there in Kansas City, you know, at the bottom of that list. So that's why I did eliminate them in my tighter car. I chose to go tighter than I normally would, but to just kind of spread out the pitching a little bit. But yeah, I don't mind the road. I mean, the team totals there, 5.1. Yeah, I mean, everything lines up. The only thing gets me is the park.
Yeah, I'm definitely big on parks, right? I think that matters a ton. So maybe that is going to be the difference. I ran some stuff to see if like I go Royal stacks over Padre stacks to see if it gets me maybe that better pitcher upgrade, and I like it. But currently when I ran it with Optimizer, right, I don't like it. And that's one thing I think I've made a mistake of in the past is like building teams without using it as much. And I think that it's going to be important to use it, right? And so far when I'm looking at it, I kind of like what I'm putting out here. So I think I'm going to end up sticking with Padres and Dodgers.
Padres and Doyers is what you're looking at. Okay. I don't mind that at all. What do we need? 27 likes for the plays of the day. That's it. Just 27 likes. Get us over it. Show locks or the slate locks in 5 minutes, guys? It's a 5 after slate tonight. So yeah, Padres, Nationals, Red Sox, Yankees are both at 7:05 Eastern time. So once those lock, maybe we'll have a couple of minutes after the show, but again, very hurtful that JT is not here. Love JT. The damn internet got him though. And these things happen. So what are you going to do?
The internet.
Holden, can we, I think good calls to go through the core plays one last time. Then let's answer the subscriber questions, right? Because I want to help them out. I mean, of course I love doing the free show for the people, but we got to give the subs some love and answer some of their questions.
I already did. We answered all the questions.
Well, if you got them, pile them in there, guys.
Yeah, I already did. Happer Marisnik.
Yeah,
that's Randy.
That's
the only one I didn't get to.
Marisnik.
I like the Marisnik idea. He's just a guy that I don't think people are going to own at all. So.
You want to often him, or is that just a stack play?
I think you could do it either way, but I wouldn't hate it as a one-off, right? I obviously like having lower owned guys in my stack if I can. So yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. Matt Smith, JSU is not using Wainwright. This is like the second straight start too. So might tell you something here. No Waino tonight. I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you there. So
Giants just walk too much, right? And like Wainwright's fine, but I don't think it's like the greatest matchup in the world at the price. So I almost tried to force the Wainwright thing, but I don't think it's worth it today.
Why'd you try to force the Wainwright thing?
Just because I didn't love the pitching, and I was like, Wainwright's really good, but like I think it's a bad play to go with Wainwright today. I think that there's not that it's a bad play, but I think there's better options you can go to, and not the best way of spending your salary, if that makes sense.
I mean, I like the San Francisco offense too. So I mean, that's another reason not to go with it. The Rockies just dropped their lineup, so they're going. This is a bad lineup too, and apparently none of their position players besides for Daza pop positive for COVID. I mean, it's Hampson, Rogers, and then Story, Blackman, Crone, McMahon, and then Diaz, Owings, and Gonzalez. That's 5 spots in that lineup, guys, with the Rockies. I know you're not playing any pitchers and cores. I don't know what Urias's ownership is going to be, but boy, Mangone, I'm not going Urias, but that is a bad lineup too. 3-4 guys are the only guys that can hurt you.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. I didn't realize it'd be that bad. I guess, of course, because of some of the COVID stuff. So, and again, I made that your eyes bet a little earlier, but hopefully it doesn't burn me too much there.
You better relax, bro. On DK, do I go Duffy Dozier or Haney Alberto? Ooh, good question. What do you think, Mangone?
You said Duffy Dozier or Haney Alberto?
Haney Alberto.
You know what I would say?
Yeah.
So I would lean whatever pitcher you like the most, right? I don't think that batter difference is that big of a deal. So go with whatever pitcher you really want the most. I think that's the most important there. I think Heaney, raw points wise, is the better option. But if you like Duffy, more, than go with him. If I had the raw points to go, or the salary to go Heaney over Duffy, I probably would, right? But on FanDuel, I don't, because he's 6.8K. So Duffy's just dirt cheap over there.
Okay, guys, you want to ask us some questions in the free chat? We'll absolutely take those too.
Holden, real quick, one thing I wanted to mention, something that I'm doing, to where, let's say I have a lineup with Duffy, or let's say I have Heaney and he's 8,800, right? And then I maybe drop down to Rodriguez or Duffy, and then I have 1,400, 2,000 savings. You know what? It's not a bad idea just to leave the exact lineup the same and change the pitchers and leave that money on the table. Because a lot of mistakes I think people make is they'll pull out that low owned guy and they'll put in a high price, maybe a guy that might garner more ownership. And then it really doesn't help you, as Mangone said, when you got a one-off and he's 30% owned, and, it was that last play and you peeled off, let's say Marisnik, and you put in, Chris Taylor instead. There's nothing wrong with leaving that money on the table.
That's the one thing about baseball too. I think it's a misnomer. Now, I don't know about how it is in cash, Travis, but in GPPs, you can leave salary on the table, man. If your stacks, if you like the guys in your stacks and it just leaves some extra money and you don't have anywhere to put it and you don't want to force spending the money, then it's fine to leave money on the table.
Yeah.
700.
Perfectly fine. I think you obviously don't want to leave 4,000, but if you do leave 4,000, right, correlate it, right? I think that's key. I think correlating is very, very important in MLB. So make sure to do that. I think that's very, very valuable.
All right. Robbie Ray, question mark from Christine. Thoughts on Robbie Ray?
It just depends if you want to embrace that weather. I don't know what you're doing with the G Ryzen, but I think he's a great play, but it just depends if you're worried about the weather risk.
I'm worried about the weather risk. And you know what? I'm just going to take the big T angle. And I mean, they're saying they could probably play through light rain. I mean, but if that's a huge chance to take, right? I mean, it's definitely a postponed risk. And two, you got to think too where we're at in the games. I mean, we just started the second as the first game. They got all weekend. They could easily make up a doubleheader Saturday or Sunday. So I generally when I think they're stuck and they got to play the game, they really got to wait it out. Two teams traveling far, maybe they don't come back. Sometimes they'll stick it out a little longer, but I'm concerned about that game. I'm not going to have anything. I'm not going to have bats or anything.
No, like I said, Toronto, showers during the game, heavier rain late. The bats I wouldn't be too scared of. Milwaukee, Cincinnati is a stay away for me. And then the Rays in Atlanta. I mean, the weather's so bad in Atlanta. JT Hayes got knocked off. He couldn't even finish the show with us today. That's how bad it is. We got 1 minute to lock. Do you want to bother with your plays of the day? We did not get to 200, which is very hurtful. Very, very hurtful today. This is not the way to come out of the All-Star break, guys. We're going to need a little bit more passion on Monday. I get it. It's a Friday show anyways. It's out of the All-Star break. Maybe people are, sleeping or whatever. A little bit hurtful doing the free up to lock show for you. We'd like to get 200, so maybe bang it on the way out. Without getting too fancy, since we're just up here against lock, G Ryzen, who was your play of the day? What is it again? The Modelo play of the day. What the hell play of the day do you have?
We'll call it the Modelo play of the day. Whatever day it is, we'll just go with the theme. But
okay.
It's too easy for me to call a Dodger. I do really like Chris Taylor. He's a guy I think is going to hit a home run. But my play of the day is going to be Jake Marisnik. I really like him in that 5-hole. I'd like the Cubbies. I think I'm going to get him at sub 5% ownership, hopefully, and he's going to hit me a homer, and it's going to jump me up the charts.
Yeah. Matt Smith says, I hope Ray's 10%. Now I'm risking it. I mean, you're going to get suppressed ownership on Robbie Ray tonight. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it whatsoever. And possibly the top arm on the slate, Mangone? You think he's the top arm on the slate?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you're going to get that. I'm just if I was playing Robbie Ray, right, I would probably have played the offense too, because if the game goes clean, like that's great for the hitters as well. So I think that's what I would have done. Like I would have just went Ray with like a 5-man Toronto stack, or we just went all in. Like it makes no sense to be like, oh, let me play, let me play like a one-off, like a Vlad Guerrero Jr. Like, no, just go all in on Toronto. Like, what are you doing then? I mean, just embrace it that you think it's going to go. And that's how I would play it typically. So I didn't really touch it though. I said no to that game. And I just went with Padres. I went with Dodgers. I went with Danny Duffy. I currently got in there Machado, Tatis, Grisham, Pham with Duffy, and then I got 4 Dodgers. So we'll see how it goes. I was going to try and make a change and go Will Myers and mix some stuff up, but I couldn't get the change in time. But that's okay. It's all correlated well, and you never know what's going to happen.
Who is your play of the day?
Play of the day, we'll go with I can't give a guy that we already played, right? Because the Padres started. So we'll go with one of the Dodgers. And right now I'll go with let's go with Cody Bellinger. There you go. Cody Bellinger finally gets the job done. He turns it around.
Okay. I'm going Salvi Perez tonight. Cronenworth and Renfroe, or Alberto and Whit Merrifield. So Cronenworth and Renfroe, or Alberto and Whit. Oof. Renfroe's in a nice spot, isn't he? But you guys love the Padres too. What do you think? G. Rising, you got any thoughts on Cronenworth, Renfroe versus Alberto and Whit?
Well, Renfroe already started, so you're not doing shit with that.
Forget about that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm off those bats in Boston. I mean, I don't mind Renfroe at all anytime against the lefty. I mean, he's a lefty smasher, so I can't argue with that one bit. But I like Cronenworth's side of that. But yeah, both obviously started. But I do like the Cronenworth and Renfroe side.
Zach wants to know if Kyle Hendricks is either one of you had Kyle Hendricks tonight.
So I don't have any, again, I'm a more of a one lineup guy, so it's tougher for me to have Kyle Hendricks, right? But I won't tell someone it's a mistake to target the Diamondbacks lineup, but that lineup is a little better today, right? I mean, Rojas, Cole Calhoun, Escobar, Walker, Peralta, Pavin Smith, Nick Ahmed, and Brian Holiday. Like it's better than we've seen, G Rising, right? But it just depends if you want to allocate your salary there. I think on DK, he's 7.5K. FanDuel is a little bit more. So it depends what site you're playing. I think it'd make more sense on DK.
Okay. I mean, Cole Calhoun coming back definitely stretches that lineup out a little bit more. You know, I don't mind that at all. And let's not forget, Bumgarner can hit too for a pitcher. So
that is true.
He can hit too. And I mean, Hendricks isn't obviously throwing gas, but it's hard for me to pay 9,800 for him. But I mean, the only argument, I mean, the win equity's there. You know, I mean, he's a minus 160. I mean, he's probably going to get the win. And I would say he's a pretty safe bet to get you 5, probably even get you 6 innings where we want that quality start on FanDuel. So, but one other thing I noticed, that Dodger team total went from 6.1 to 7.1 because of that Senzatella news.
Yep. I was going to bet the total. It was at 6.5. I said, screw it. I'm not going to bother.
Can we talk about how Fernando Tatis first pitch, he bunted the ball foul? Like, why is he bunting? Like, why is I mean, I know Grisham got on base. Why are we bunting with Fernando Tatis? How stupid is that?
No, he just wants to get on base, man.
I don't know what this setup was, right? I don't know if they're just so far over it was like an easy on first, but I mean, that's just stupid. You're the best hitter. You know what I mean? You don't have your best hitter bunt.
If it's the shift, you bunt him over. Get your leadoff man on.
17% Robbie Ray in the tournament.
How much?
17%. I'm really surprised by that.
Oh, so people were not worried about the weather there.
He would be 40%, probably higher if it wasn't for that rain. And
what? You think 40% on a 15-game slate?
Yes, because pitching wasn't the greatest and there was some confusion. So what happened was a lot of the Morton ownership would have gravitated to Ray because it'd be like, oh, if it's between these two and I'm flipping a coin, let me go to the guy that I know safest, right? It definitely would have gotten up there, I think.
Okay, cool. Want to remind everybody again, if you're not a subscriber yet, great stuff coming up this weekend. We do our up to lock shows in baseball. Me and G Rising will be doing it again on Sunday morning. I know Mangone, G Rising, these guys work weekends too. I do Sundays now. So we got that. Saturday. I mean, you're not going to get any better advice than what you get from Big T on Showdown slates. You know, JSU in there with them too. You'll get the course for that. If you sign up today, you'll get it for tomorrow night's Showdown. And don't forget, the NFL's coming up too. So we got a lot going on. RPS Heater 25 promo code. Get you 25% off your first payment. Hit the like button on the way out. Travis, anything you'd like to say before we go?
No, I mean, we'll have all the content you need this weekend, right? We got MMA, NASCAR, all the stuff, right? Baseball's back. So we'll be bringing it to you all weekend long. So be sure to check out all that. Check out all the content we got. We got best ball stuff, and we have everything that you need, any sport. We got it here at Run Pure Sports. RPS Heater 25% off.
G Ryzen, enjoy the Modelo's and edibles. I hope you have a wonderful night, a great weekend.
Thank you. You do the same, sir, and the rest of the Run Pure community. Let's have us a Twitter party tonight and have some screenshots with everybody up on the top. That's what I'm waiting for.
What time is our show? Noon on Sunday?
Yeah, yes, sir. I keep forgetting it's Friday, but yeah, Sunday morning. I think it's 11 o'clock. I think 11 o'clock. I'm not sure.
11 o'clock Eastern. I don't know. I do the bet. I just wake up in the morning and they tell me what to do. So 11 Eastern is our show, right?
Yep. We'll be raring to go on a Sunday fun day.
Beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. For Mangone and G Ryzen, of course, Simon behind the scenes. I'm Holden. Keep running pure. Simon, please let us out of here.